Hey, this is Larry with Guys, Games, and Beer, and we are at EverCon doing more interviews. This is Saturday afternoon, so we're all in pretty good shape. We are not all super tired. But so, with smiles, I pass it to.
This is Brian from Guys, Games, and Beer, and we brought some special guests on the show right here today. And you are?
My name is Eric Riskus. I'm the Independent Living Program Director at Midstate Independent Living Choices in Stevens Point.
And I'm Taylor Ray Jurgens. I am the peer support manager also at Midstate Independent Living Choices. We're a nonprofit that helps people with mental and physical disabilities.
I bet you can hear him good, but it's loud in this room, and it's kind of tough to hear you. So if you could speak up a little bit, I really have some trouble hearing you.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing.
Yeah, so Midstate Independent Living Choices, as Taylor was mentioning, we help people who have varying disabilities overcome their barriers towards their independence. And this includes social and recreational opportunities. So we're here showcasing how we're making video games, console gaming more accessible. And we're adding in something new this year with Dungeons and Dragons and showcasing how we're not only making it accessible for everyone to play, but how we're using it to help provide peer support and mental health support as well.
Well, what would be an example of one of the challenges and what you've done to sort of get over that challenge so that everybody can enjoy it?
Yeah, I can certainly speak about the adaptive console gaming, and then I'm going to let Taylor talk about the peer support because that's her bread and butter. So with the console gaming, if there's someone who has a physical disability, I'll use cerebral palsy as an example, where one of the hands may not work the same as the other hand. So holding a traditional controller can be increasingly difficult. Mm-hmm. So we brought with us the adaptive PlayStation controller as well as the adaptive Xbox controller. This allows gamers with disabilities to not only move the actual buttons around in a way that's going to work for them to be able to play, but they can plug in additional adaptive switches. So let's say I can't use, with this hand, I can't hit the square and circle buttons with my thumb. Well, I might be able to put an accessible switch down on the table and have that plugged into this controller. So now that those buttons are here, so I can hit them instead. So while I'm holding the console, increasing accessibility that way. Also promoting the in-game accessibility features. So highlighting high contrast, highlighting being able to control maybe some of the more flashing light scenes that may trigger epilepsy, learning how to get the closed captioning on there as well to really boost and make sure that these games are accessible, but people know how to use those accessibility features as well. And with that, I'm actually going to have Taylor talk about the Dungeons and Dragons.
So there's lots of barriers when it comes to tabletop games. Like, you are visualizing things in your mind, so we try to create and come up with things to make things more visual and tactile. So like holding dice and rolling them can be a very difficult thing for people, and so we have dice towers, so you can just drop them into the dice tower and it comes out at the bottom with your roll. We've got initiative trackers, so the one we have at the table here is a sword that has little like whiteboard tiles on them, and so you write the name of the player who is going to be next initiative and then the monsters on the other side so they can see where they are in order, so you don't have to remember that because that can be very difficult for people. It's a big thing in the D&D community that people don't know how to read D10s to do percentile dice or figure things out, so we just got a D100 and you can roll that. You don't have to worry about that being an issue. And just for the accessibility feature of it, peer support is a non-clinical way of going about like mental health recovery, and so you can use D&D as a way to kind of work through things that maybe you don't have another way to face, because there's a little facet of your personality in every character you create, and so you can work through some things that maybe you didn't have opportunities to in other ways of your life. So it just overall is very beneficial and is very underutilized as a mental health tool.
What kind of comes to mind to me, there's the physical ideas of being able to hold things, such things, but for me, D&D, it seems the blindness or deafness would probably be huge challenges.
Absolutely. One of the things I have at the table right now is a magnifier, and so we have dice trays so that rolling, sometimes things go off the board, you have to figure out where your dice went, and so you can roll underneath the magnifier to just see bigger, like font We also have a D20 that's about this big that has high contrast numbers on it, so that's really easy to see. So there's lots of ways to make it accessible. It's just maybe not as commonplace. So what we're trying to do here is just showcase that there are ways to make things more accessible.
Okay, and how has it been received here?
Extremely well. People have been playing since like the 80s, and they're like, I never thought of that. That's a brilliant idea. We had a lot of people come to the table, and they're like, the giant D20 is a great idea because as you get older, your vision gets poorer. And so having something that is high contrast just makes it easier because it's like you still want to play your favorite game that you've been playing for decades. You just have to find new ways to adapt to make it more accessible.
I think this would work pretty well for a lot of situations, but I got mixed feelings about it because it's not tactically as enjoyable. But like those they used to be called like bones that are digital dice that you just hit a button and it randomizes a number for you. You know, you hit what version of dice you want, a D6, a D whatever, and then
we have it's about this big, but it's got all 7 dice on it, and you could just spin it. And so in case you don't want to bring a bunch of dice with you, especially if you're traveling, but it'll just roll for you, and it's got a little peg on the bottom, so whatever it lands on once it's done spinning is what you have as your number for your roll. So there are lots of ways to make things more enjoyable, and then you could just use it as a fidget spinner in between your turns.
I feel like I would like that better than the digital.
Yeah.
Because you're still being physical.
Right, exactly. So there's lots of ways you do it. You just got to figure out like where are your barriers, and then figure out what accommodations can you give yourself.
And some of the things to consider too, actually I was getting my phone out so I can showcase this. There are different apps that you can get. So this is a live captioning app. So if there's someone who maybe is deaf, or sometimes even myself, I have audio processing issues. It's where you can say something, I'll ask you to repeat yourself, and halfway through repeating yourself, then it finally catches up what you were actually saying. So
I
closed
feel like I have
captioning.
that a lot normally too myself, just because like I have to have, like when we're doing the rules, like makes sense, but you had to repeat, like I have to deal with that a lot too. And
Yeah, exactly.
seeing it on a screen and going, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And a lot more people have issues with audio processing, like, than really will know that they do. They're just like, sometimes I just don't hear things correctly. It's like, well, you don't have to have a diagnosed disability in order to use accommodations. Like, it just, whatever makes your life easier.
Yeah, and we are getting older.
Just get me older, like the cards we were using, like maybe I should have my reading glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to deal with that more and more as time goes on.
Absolutely.
I'm fairly impressed with that app. It was capturing you
Perfectly.
It's
It's so good.
accurate and quick.
I learned about that app at a training. There's a program out of Wisconsin Department of Health Services called WizTech. And they provide funding towards Centers for Independent Living and other organizations in the state to have assistive technology services available for people with disabilities. So they had a training where they sent a bunch of us to, and I think it was in Eau Claire, where they showcased this app. And it was free to download. You can go in there, you can change the contrast settings, the colors, the size of everything to make it what you need it to be. But I have probably used that app for so many different things because of that audio processing.
So you have an event coming up.
Yeah.
Tell us about the event.
Yeah, so the name of the event is called Let's Play, and it's exactly what it sounds like, Let's Play. So it's an opportunity for people with disabilities, as well as those who may not have a disability, to come together in an inclusive environment. We're going to have the accessible console gaming that we talked about. We're going to have Dungeons & Dragons accessible there as well. So this is going to be held at the Wausau Library on April 27th from, I'm sorry, what time do I have on there? Because we moved it last time I looked. From 11 a.m. to 1:30. Thank you. So we only have capacity for 99 people in the community room that we're going to be in, though. So if anyone is interested in checking out this event, they can go to our website, www.milc-inc.org, and they can find all the information there.
Yeah, normally our wonderful producer will put links underneath.
Oh, that'll make it so much better.
That sounds like a great event for.
Yeah. So all the different events that we do, we want to make sure that we're leaving space for people with disabilities, absolutely for sure, but it's meant to be all inclusive. So getting everybody together to join in on something fun that they enjoy doing. And there's no age limits. If you want to come play, register and come play.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where people might want to volunteer and be like a helper to somebody who wants to play a game, you know, and just help them through it, kind of thing.
Yep, and actually,
Is
we
that,
call
is
them
that a
co-pilots.
situation that comes up? Co-pilots?
Yeah,
Okay.
we call them co-pilots. Yep.
Okay, all right.
So, and actually, I brought my son with me this weekend, and he's over in the gaming hall right now helping teach people about the adaptive equipment, about what Centers for Independent Living do. Right now, he's helping a young man learn all about Bloodborne and how to level up in advance. And I'm at the point where it's starting to sound less and less familiar to me, but I'm glad he knows what he's doing.
Now, do you run into any curating issues where certain disabilities might be sensitive to light or certain aggressive imageries or...
Yeah. Oh, I have a phenomenal example for this. So in some of the gaming events that we've had before, we have set up sensory-friendly spaces where the lights are lower, the volume is down, and we actually go into the TV settings, turn down the brightness, so this way it's not as intense. Within games, though, one of the games I love to highlight for building this in is Hogwarts Legacy. And actually, I think I talked about this a little bit last year, too. They have an arachnophobia setting because I feel like 75% of the monsters that you battle are these big, huge spiders. And they built into the game where if you have arachnophobia, they actually change the spiders into different monsters.
Oh.
So this way you're able to enjoy the game without having spiders jumping out at you. It jump scares every 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I can see that being a problem. But...
Yeah.
I mean, that goes a step past, like, I think I've seen more, like, the list of accessibility options in some of the newer games. You know, like, you really read through them. I'm using more of the text ones nowadays, or to choose the right color that looks well on the screen just for me, because white might be too bright for me or something like that. So I choose a color, or maybe the boldness of the font, because I'm close enough, if not far enough away, I don't need the readers. So it's like, as my eyes are changing as they get old. I mean,
Yeah.
and then all the other, like, there's adding that kind of, that seems like an additional feature that I don't think, it's a really interesting one to change what you see on the screen as well.
Yeah, I mean, that comes up. I do know people that are colorblind, various versions of colorblind, because you think mostly, when you think colorblind, it's, oh, it's black and white. Well, it's not necessarily black and white. You may see
Red, green,
color,
green is
but,
really common.
You know, where you're just missing, you know, an element, and now there is color, but it's just a very different color.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So, being able to modify your screen to meet your needs is incredibly important.
have you found that most games are pretty adaptable, or some just become unplayable if you take the brightness down too far or the contrast away? Or
There are some, especially when you get more into like your role-playing games where we go into dark caves, going into dungeons, and things are naturally becoming darker, and it gets really difficult to like, where's the entrance, where's the exit, where the heck am I supposed to go?
Yeah.
So being able to adjust that within the game, I do think that's that's an important feature that people should be including in.
All right. Anything else you want to cover?
Just really quick, if there's anyone with a disability that is looking for information referral, looking for advocacy, looking for someone to help them learn how to do various independent living skills, cooking, cleaning, financial literacy, community navigation, if there's anyone who's in a nursing home, assisted living, group family home, that would like to live in a community setting of their choice, that's what the independent living centers are designed to do. So while we have fun with the adaptive gaming and the events that we do, the real bread and butter of what we do is, like I said before, helping remove those barriers to someone's independence.
I think throughout the country, throughout the Midwest.
So our specific service region is 11 counties, Adams, all the way up through Vilas, Forest, and Florence. But all 72 counties in the state of Wisconsin have some type of coverage from the Center for Independent Living. There's 8 of us across the state. But we do have leaders that meet together every other month to make sure that our programming's the same when we're going to Madison, to advocate that our voices and message is the same. So this way, no matter where you live, those 5 core services, you're going to have consistent wherever you go.
And I would assume, I mean, family members could call on behalf.
Yep.
You know, if they're looking for help.
Yeah, absolutely. Family members can certainly give us a call. But what's important to know is that everything we do is consumer directed. So, you know, let's say someone were to call on behalf of me, like, hey, I have this guy, Eric, that could use your help. Well, it's up to me whether I want that help or not. So what we may have, and oftentimes we'll have someone say, you know, mom and dad, they can't hear as well on the phone anymore. Can you help them out? We'll give mom and dad a call to find out, well, no one ever actually involved them in that decision to get in touch with us.
Yeah.
So we'll ask them, you know, do you want our help? Is this something that you would like? Well, no, I don't think we need it. Okay, that's fine. That's totally your call. We're not going to force you to do anything. So it's all consumer driven.
It's the same thing with peer support. It's the reason it's so effective as a mental health recovery system is because it's entirely voluntary, and so you can't make somebody do peer support. It's people that want to do the work, want to learn the coping skills, want to figure out how to take better control of their life through other supports. And you're just more willing to adapt and change and overcome certain barriers if you're willing to do the work. And so it's been very beneficial for the people I've worked with.
And do you want to drop a little bit on River City's Clubhouse and our new group on Marshfield?
Yeah, we have a drop-in center that is open Monday through Friday in Rapids from 10 until 2 in the United Methodist Church. It's on 441 Garfield Street. It's open, staffed by a peer specialist who has lived experience with mental health struggles, and you go in and you can get support based on that. We also do a lot of work through CCS, which is county-based, which is basically people come to us and they need a lot more mental health support. They can get a peer specialist through us to kind of provide that support, teach coping skills, teach other independent living skills, like Eric mentioned before. So got that going on. Also, if you live in the Marshfield area, in the Faith Lutheran Church on Cherry Street, we will have hours from 10 until 2 on Tuesdays now. Just started that last week, so we are getting our foot in places, which is really exciting. Okay.
All right, want to take us out?
Yep. Well, thanks for coming on the show. This is Ryan from Guys, Gays, and Beer, and we'll just summarize who you guys are on your website, and then we should be good, right? We're at EverCon, by the way, 2026.
All right. Let's see what our producer does now.
Oh, he's a... Yeah.